How do you train your mind not to worry what others may think of you? I literally just remind myself that 90% of the people I run into will never see me again. So what's the point of trying to impress? I worked in retails for years. I figured out that I barely remember anyone or what they did. I only the complete pricks. I think as soon as you turn 30, each year afterward you just naturally give about 10% less of a fuck what anybody else thinks. It's possible that you thinking that everyone around you is judging you comes from you projecting your own critical judgment of others. The solution here would be to try to stop judging those around you so much and become more accepting of people in general. This will slowly alter your perception of others to the point where you stop worrying about them judging you. For me, it started with realizing that everyone is thinking about themselves way more than they're thinking about me. I'm not that important, in a good way. Ask yourself how many hours of your day thinks about the guy you just bought your groceries from, or that girl you walked past by. If you don't really give much thought to others, then other people don't give a fuck what you do. So stop being scared and YOLO. Get rid of your social media. This might help, or it might be stupid. But the idea that everyone you meet in the day has had to use the toilet just like you might take away their mystery, and the idea you have to care what they think they're no better than you. Boil it down to biological functions and they have to do the same things you do. They can't escape it, even the queen. Other than that, I used to care a lot about what people thought, and it made me very self-conscious age 16 to 21. As I grew older, I started to realize that, in the nicest possible way, most people just don't care about you. Think about if you saw someone in the street with a really bad haircut. It might register in your mind, but then that person is gone. You don't spend your day thinking about this bad haircut stranger. You don't start making plots against them or shouting about them on social media. Unless you're a sociopath. We just don't care about strangers. They are part of our lives. So maybe that's a way to think about it. Nobody cares about you. Do you feel better now? Understandably, this is delusional, but my method is to assume one of three modes. I am a god and your opinions carry as much importance as your worship for me. I am a visiting alien from another planet. Your opinions are meaningless as well as difficult to understand. I am only here to eat your food and visit your theme parks. I am an elder immortal who has lived long before you were born and shall continue to live long after you are dead. Your opinions only matter to you, as I am far too busy to be bothered with them. Foolish with a hint of insanity, but I do get more stuff done now that the opinion of others hold no significance. Neat. Thanks for the awards. You know every single stupid thing you've done that will pop into your head years later. They have done stuff like that and worse. IDK what happened? I think it's when I got dumped for like the 34th time and I was like, dude, I'm way happier alone, so now I live life like a fucking weirdo and I'm growing out a man bun and trying new things that would otherwise make me look like a fool until the person that can truly love me for who I am shows up. Be yourself and give zero fucks about their opinion, because honestly, their thoughts do not rule your life. It's not something to train. It's something to unlearn. I don't want to say I'm the great guru who knows the way, but I can tell you about my voyage. I have always believed that a well-thought-out plan is more likely to lead to a successful outcome than a decision made on the basis of the emotions of the moment. But as a very young adult, I didn't trust my own powers of reason to be good enough. I still asked others what they thought, and would adjust my plans accordingly. Little by little, I watched how my plans turned out, and I watched how my friends' advice turned out. In the beginning, I wasn't such a great decision maker. Over the course of time, my decisions grew better and better. There eventually came a time when I knew my own advice was better than the advice of some of the others. Of course, some of my friends and colleagues had also grown into wise adults. I still seek out their advice, But it's not because I care what they think. It's because I trust their advice to be good. Go into the politics subreddit and tell them what you really think. Spend days arguing with people. At some point, you just realize that maybe it's fine to let them be them and you be you. Most of that comes from social competition and continuous comparison to others. Learn to compare yourself only to yourself. Did I do my best? What can I improve? How much do I want to improve next time? By comparing yourself to yourself, you automatically stop comparing yourself to others. As a result, you become happier, more goal-oriented, more strategic and more accomplished, productive. 90% of the time, they're only thinking about themselves and how they come off. Which, if you think about it, is what you're doing. Honestly, I'm just too tired to give a crap about what people think. I was really bad for this in my late teens to early 20s. What worked for me in a practical sense was actively redirecting my thoughts when I started having those self-conscious and negative ones. Walking through a room full of people, I would automatically think they were viewing me negatively. I realized that my thinking was actually very self-absorbed. I didn't automatically leap to negative judgments about other people. What was so special or different about me that made me think people were even thinking about me? And even if they were, why did I automatically assume it was bad? It was because my thoughts about myself were usually negative. So everyone must see me how I see myself. Right. So in situations where I started to feel worried, negative, I would instead focus on paying attention to my surroundings with a positive spin. So walking through a room full of people, I would direct my thoughts to notice someone's lovely hair, the rich color of the wood flooring, or the malty smell of beer. Anything but myself in that moment. In conversations, I would actively listen and think about what the other person was actually saying instead of just half listening while thinking they were thinking something negative about me. I coupled that with retraining my brain to think more positive thoughts about myself rather than the negative ones that were my default. I did this enough that it started becoming second nature, and having other things to focus on like work, volunteering, and sports really helped. Now I don't have to consciously think about it anymore unless I start hanging around with perpetually negative or pessimistic people. I hope this helps. This is just part of what worked for me. It was not a quick fix by any means, and no one can think positive 24/7, so have some compassion for yourself when you're feeling like shit and being a negative Nancy. It's all part of the big picture about not caring about things that are unimportant to you, and only caring about things that bring you specific measurable benefit. Does something benefit you? Great. Put energy into that. Anything else? Fuck it. Not worth your time unless you get something out of it. Thinking they're thinking good things of me. By realizing that everyone is broken and human, they're just as worried about how you are judging them. The most important thing to focus on is, what do you think of you? Live to be a better you, not a better impression of you. Just remember that someday they will be dead, and you will be dead, and everyone you know will be dead, and everyone who knows anyone you know will die too, and nothing you do or say will matter. It's very freeing when you realize how inconsequential your actions truly are. A combination of things. Popularity meant survival during our evolution, because being shunned by the tribe for any reason meant an embargo on food and resources. Consequently, we've got a strong emotional desire to fit in, and fit in to the point of being neurotic about it. Now, if someone or a group hates us, there's very little consequence to it. Your intense emotional response is vestigial, and there is little reason to take it very seriously, or incorporate it into your rational understanding of the world. Borrowing and paraphrasing a concept from cognitive behavioral therapy. Just because you feel an emotion doesn't mean it's for a valid reason, and you don't have to treat it as such. With the above in mind, focus on this fact. More CBD. If you have low self-esteem, you'll tend to treat any feedback with a greater negative bias and weight than it may. actually deserve, when it could be and often is indicative of nothing negative. For instance, coworker doesn't say hi to you. In your mind it's because they're mad at you for something, when it's just as possible and more likely that they're distracted with their own problems. Even more CBD, practice acting as you want in situations that make you uncomfortable. You're probably shy because you were bullied by your parents or classmates, and your internalized understanding of yourself as a person who deserves ridicule. The only way to undo that autonomic emotional reflex is to do things worthy of ridicule and teach your subconscious that its predictions are wrong and that you are not a person worthy of ridicule. Source: person tortured by the public school system in his developmental years. Desensitize yourself. Force yourself to do shit that makes you worry about what others are thinking. Eventually, you'll stop thinking about it. I think what has really helped me is the understanding that 9 times out of 10 you probably don't care enough about certain things yourself. So most people probably don't either. Ask people questions. Let them talk, and just listen. People love to be invited to talk about themselves. Generally, people care and think about themselves way more than they think about others. It sounds harsh, but it's actually liberating. Most people don't even know you exist. If they know, they aren't thinking about you. If they're thinking about you, it's probably nothing bad. If they're thinking something bad, you can't be responsible for how their thoughts are formed or get assembled. I came to the conclusion that most people who would judge are shitty people, so why would I care what they thought? Reach the age of 30. I found after I hit 30 I just did not give a f asterisk ck anymore. Just stop giving a fuck. It isn't any of your business what others think of you. This is what helped me change my mindset in the past. Don't know how old you are, but here's what happened to me. I got old. One day you realize you have kids, a job, bills to pay, trying to build a career, and are trying to grow into a real relationship with someone based on respect and understanding. Suddenly you're too busy to give a single flying fuck what anyone outside your immediate circle thinks of you. The only caveat to this is if being popular is part of your job. If you're an actor or a politician, then part of your career is making sure people like you. So unless you're making a living off of it, being concerned about popularity as an adult is a waste of time. Be courteous and kind. Don't go out of your way to piss anyone off. But really, any amount of energy spent on strangers is energy not spent on what matters. Do hard things other people can't do. Remind yourself you can do hard things other people can't do. I look through this thread and copy them. Or I remind myself of a rhyme I told myself when I was getting beat up by some guy. Such violent means, but all in vain. I've trained my mind to feel no pain. Then I tweak it to fit the situation. I have weird coping mechanisms, but say la vie. Acknowledge the feeling. Say, okay, I am worried, but that is not going to stop me from doing what I planned. Slowly the feeling will subside. Also focus on something which you feel is more valuable than validation from other people. If you know what you like about yourself, you don't have to care what people think. Also think of the intelligence of the average person. Half of all people fall below that. That helps by recognizing that most of the time you're wrong. https://www.huffpost.com entry 85 of what we worry about _b_8,028,368 Gu counter equals 1 and goose underscore referrer equals R0CHM6Li93D3 cos 29 VZ2XLLMNHLW and goose underscore referrer underscore sig equals AQAAADFGFJCG26 to 7 RRWE8BQJ. Raj94 VixJI0YSLD8EUY067DOVWMC WJGQUBRLRF0MYIBMM VTN RQUJ7GWPJT_ZZEHOKJY9JIJXDWJJKJ. Everyone is inherently self-centered, and as such, they don't really give a shit about you or what you do. Nobody else's opinion matters to your life either way, and being self-conscious is a waste of energy. Make decisions about who you choose to be. Start with simple decisions, like, what's my favorite color? Build on that, until you gave sufficient pride into who you are that other people's opinion become just that. Other people's opinions. I remind myself that every single human being I've ever met is self-conscious about something in their lives. They probably won't even notice or care. No one is going to judge you as much as yourself. Hey, it's really hard, but think about it like this. Those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. If people are going to judge you based on superficial things like appearance or a rumor they heard, then they don't deserve to be in your life, and what they say is irrelevant to who you truly are. The people who deserve to be in your life are those who love you no matter what, who actually know you for who you are.